There we go. Open the floodgates.
Here we go. G'day. Welcome. Oh, it's been too long. Here we
Good
all
evening,
are.
everyone.
Whoa, I've been waiting for this for a fair while, Jose. I'm so excited. It's great to be back. 2021 live online Australian Gin Tour.
The 2021 tour. What an exciting time.
Yeah.
In a lot better circumstances than last year.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, better for some.
Better
of course,
for some,
down here in Victoria, for those of us here.
But there's not so much uncertainty like it was last year.
Yeah.
You got to see the positive side. I got to see the part of
100%.
Yeah.
Last year was so much fun going around, and I mean, with over 700 gins in Australia, we only just scratched the surface. So we thought we better go around again. It's just, there's
plenty of tour.
There's so much out there to try, and we want to try as much of it as possible. So thanks everyone for joining in again. We're super excited, particularly tonight, and to start off in Victoria with these 7 amazing producers. Some wonderful gins in the lineup, really interesting styles, all pretty vastly different, and a great showcase of what an amazing distilling scene we've got down here in Victoria, Jose. Yeah,
amazing. As always, we start from the home ground and we work our way around Australia.
That's it.
So please apologies for the Zoom link. It was Google stuff up meets Zoom, whatever. So it all got sorted in the end.
You get it.
Yes.
Have a look at all these beautiful faces. How exciting. I'm so excited. And I'm just, to be honest, Jose, I'm a little bit thirsty. So what I'm going to do is just quickly introduce the distillers that are joining us tonight, and the producers, the reps, everyone, the representatives from the distilleries, and then we'll get underway with the tasting. So first, I'd like to introduce Craig. Craig's the distillery manager at Bellarine Distillery, and of course we've got the wonderful Teddy and Fox gin tonight. Craig, how are you, mate?
I'm very good, Jono. And Jose, how about yourself?
Yeah, good. We are pretty good here. A little bit cold and rainy, but that's a perfect excuse to drink a lot of gin, right, Jono?
Perfect time for this sort of thing. First time Bellarine's joined us, and we're so excited to be able to try this one tonight and find out a little bit more about you guys. That fire looks warm there. We need to get one of those.
It is very cozy here, except my ice is starting to melt. So I'm going to have to start drinking some gin soon.
We'll have to get a show on the road, and we'll get it on the road. From Brogan's Way, we've got Simon Carr there. How are you, mate?
Hi, guys, and hello to everybody else online tonight. Looking forward to chatting with you all. All good, out of lockdown.
That's it. Cheers for joining us tonight, Simon. I know there's busy stuff going on at the distillery tonight, so thankful you're able to join us, and we're really looking forward to try this Mother's Way limited edition gin you've done. It's a pretty special one. So. Simon's
another one that's been there from last year.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. First one last year.
Yeah, amazing to see you again. Thank you very much for the support.
Thank you for supporting us as well.
Absolutely, can't wait to crack into that one. Cheers, Simon. And from Mrs. Baker's Spirits, and of course we've got this awesome little Mrs. Baker's Stillhouse Shiraz gin, the Poetic Chocolate Muse.
Cutest bottle.
Yeah, might win the cutest bottle of the year.
Yeah.
And we've got Jane and George. How are you guys?
We're fantastic. Thank you very much.
So exciting to have you guys in. Cheers for joining.
Thank you. Well, we're very, very jealous of Craig's fire over at the Bellarine. We're expecting snow up in the hills tonight, so it's winter time here.
Yeah.
And our ice isn't melting.
And our ice is not melting.
Benefits of the cool climate up there.
Yeah,
you get your ice stays the length. Well, hopefully a few of these G&Ts can warm you up as the night goes on, and
go and grow some ice on the driveway and prepare some gin and tonics.
Yeah, have a snow cone. Shiraz snow cone. Absolutely. Thanks for joining us tonight, guys. We're super looking forward to discovering all about you guys and this awesome gin. From Bass and Flinders, the first time we've had Bass and Flinders in, and we're so excited to. We've got the amazing Holly Clintworth, who's the distiller, director, the lot really at Bass and Flinders. So Holly, thank you so much for joining us
Holly.
tonight.
Thanks, guys. Excited to be here.
Oh, it's amazing, and what a backdrop there. If it starts to drag on or anything, you just turn around and make some gin and come back.
The only thing I'm worried about is it's intermittent pouring with rain at the moment, and I've got a tin roof. So hopefully that doesn't happen while I'm talking. It's all right now.
I like the sound of it. I reckon it adds to the character.
Yeah.
Holly, thank you so much for coming in tonight, and we're super excited to try this Orient gin. Absolutely delicious. Anther Distillery, it's great to have Anther in again. Joey, Ty, and Derv should be joining us. They've got a bit going on in the distillery tonight. I'm not sure if they're quite in yet. Maybe not.
I can see them yet.
No, they're coming in. Derv and Joey, and also Steve, the distiller at Fossey's, are probably just coming in for their slot because it's a busy Friday night at the distillery. So they're just going to slide in and say g'day when we get to their gins. That'll be exciting. I can see Anne in there from Great Ocean Road. How are you, Anne?
Can't hear you, and you're muted.
Technology. It's been a while since I've done some Zoom, so
back into it, huh?
Rusty.
A bit rusty, yeah.
A bit rusty.
And it's one of those supporters from last year too that we can see again, which is great.
Absolutely. Yeah, great to be part of the tour. So thank you for having me back and us back. It's great to be part of this amazing group of distillers here tonight.
Thank you very much. Most of these people know you by your name now. We
love the Great Ocean Road spirits, all the gins you come out with, and we've got an interesting one in the grapefruit cello, a little bit different. It's great to have an array of various gins tonight, so we're excited to try this one.
Fantastic.
And hear about what's going on at Great Ocean Road. But I think it's time to get a little bit of gin in our glass, Jose. We're all pretty thirsty. The order that we're going to go in tasting tonight is the order we just introduced everyone. We're going to start off with Bellarine Distillery. So without further ado, let's get a little bit of gin in our glass. You've all got your 30 ml sample there. If you haven't done a tasting with us before, we'll try the gin first. We'll get a little bit of an understanding of it. Then we'll add in the tonic and garnish as we have a little bit of a chat to Craig. But pour your 30 ml sample in your glass. Any sort of glass you've got there is fine. Jose and I like big wine sort of glasses like this. Everyone's got a good gin glass at home. How are we going, Jose? Yeah, it's the first one of the night, huh? We'll have a little bit of a tipple.
Yeah, good.
So this is an awesome little number from Bellarine Distillery. Lemon myrtle and orange sort of play the lead role in this, and the illustration on the bottle as well is awesome.
Hang on.
These guys have been around for a while now, doing some amazing stuff. And I guess as we just start to try this gin, Craig, tell us a little bit about Bellarine and this gin as well.
You get Teddy and the Fox.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, hopefully you can see the artwork there. I love the artist that does our labels. He comes down from Sydney. He's met all the dogs. As you can see, there is a very strong dog theme. If you don't know our gins, all of our labels actually have one of Russ and Laurel's dogs on it. So Russ and Laurel are the founders of the distillery.
Yep.
They started thinking about it in about 2015. Then they had to battle with council to get it all happening, but they finally won the battle, and we've got a lovely distillery there now. In 2018, we actually started commercial production. I joined Russ and Laurel in about 2017. I was busily stalking them from the sidelines. I was seeing what they were doing, and I thought, how do I get involved with what Russ and Laurel are doing? Because I just thought it was fantastic. It was a nice location. We're down on the Bellarine Peninsula, just past Drysdale.
Yep.
On the way to Port Arlington, on the Port Arlington Road. We've got a cellar door there called the Whiskery, and it gets quite busy there on the weekends, even when it's raining and cold, which is good. We're surrounded by wineries. It's a beautiful spot down there. So if anyone ever gets a chance, come and visit us down there. You might see Rush. You might see Teddy. Even Teddy does float around. He sits by the fire a bit like what I'm doing tonight. And some of the other dogs you might see there too. Billy, who was named on our first whiskey release, actually, which was a few months ago. But I won't talk about whiskey. I know it's gin. It's gin tonight.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's
in front of me, but we'll stick.
It's a sensational little number, and I guess we'll work back to front a little bit because I've got a few questions to ask you about the distillery and that side of things.
Sure.
This gin that we're trying now, pretty like small I guess, amount of botanicals that go into it. You're aiming, I guess, for finesse for this one. And I think you've hit the nail on the head beautifully. This gin, sort of what's the thought process behind it?
Yeah, that's right. All of our gins don't have very many botanicals. We try and balance the heroes. We always have a few heroes of the show with all of our gins, and we try and showcase them. And in this case, we've got lemon myrtle and oranges. In particular, Valencia oranges. We've tried others, and we just don't get the zing. We don't get the fruit tingle type of flavour.
Yep.
So this is definitely it's more of a contemporary style gin. The juniper does sit back a bit, and that's because we actually distill the juniper in a very different way to the other botanicals. The juniper is done in a basket, so it's a vapor infusion.
Yep.
It's not sitting in the berries aren't sitting in the boiling pot, so you don't get those deep resiny flavors that are really nice flavors for some other gins, but not for this one. We like the light, the more pine foresty style of flavors that come out of there, and the citrus tones that you do get from juniper, which is why we've matched it with the citrus. It is a bit of a citrus bomb, this one. It's described as lemonade icy poles and
nice.
orange fruit tingles.
Lemonade icy balls, I think that's lemon super dupers.
It's an exceptional.
Exactly. Yeah. When you melt them down, when you're at high school and you used to get all the liquid at the bottom of your lemonade super duper.
Let's get a little bit of tonic in here as we continue to chat. So for the pairing for this one, we've got the Fever Tree Refreshingly Light Indian tonic water, not to be confused with the normal Indian. This is the refreshing light we're going to start with. As we always say, with the tonic, start with a little bit, work your way up, find your ratio, and also play around with what's in front of you in terms of the tonics, and let us know what you're enjoying pairing wise. And we're excited to explore with these awesome. We've got a great array of Fever Tree tonics here tonight.
As for everyone that's on the show tonight, you don't need to use the whole bottle of tonic with your gin. You have your 30 mils. I like them pretty much less than 1-to-1. So I put just a little bit of tonic. I don't like it with too much tonic. Yep. But if you feel you want a little bit more tonic, make it a little bit more spritzy. You can
play around with it. And
play around with it.
Depends on the gin. So the garnish we're going to go with for this one, we've got 6 garnishes in there tonight. So hopefully they're easy to differentiate with. We're going to start with some of the citrus, and we're going to go for the orange. So the orange, in the citrus, you've got lemon, grapefruit, orange, and lime. I hope you can differentiate between them all, but if not, let us know. We're going to start with popping a little bit of orange in there and stir that around. And
the nose is sensational.
Oh, it's absolutely cracking. I'm in love with this one. I guess you got the Lefroy color.
My dog just grabbed my cap.
Just before we jump back to Craig, I might head over to, and we forgot to introduce at the start in all the fanfare, but we are obviously joined tonight by
the fabulous,
the amazing Trish Brew,
the one and only.
And we're so lucky to be. Trish, thank you so much for joining tonight.
Look, thank you so much for having me. I love it. It's literally like the best bar in the country, just from my couch. It's the best. All these amazing gins and distillers. I'm so excited for this one because there's actually a couple of gins on here that I haven't tried. So excited about this. But one I have tried many, many times is the Teddy and the Fox. I absolutely love what the guys are doing down there at the Ballerine. Incredible. The tonic water pairs so perfectly with this. They're refreshingly light because we use fruit sugar instead of caster sugar, so you can use significantly less, which really I find opens up to the botanicals quite a lot more. And we use Mexican bitter orange oil in this tonic, which is quite prevalent, and really good quality quinine. And so I think that pairs so perfectly with Teddy and the Fox because of that zesty orange oil, and it is really sherbety, isn't it? Absolutely divine, best palate cleanser and great way to kick off. So loving this one.
It's lovely. It's not a bone dry drink, so it's quite fruity, orangey, and like a great I would say aperitif style of gin and tonic.
And with that beautiful lemon myrtle there as well, it's really indicative of like modern style Australian dry gin.
Yeah.
or more sort of citrus full of gin. It's absolutely delicious. Craig, Bellarine, so sort of let's take a little bit of a step back, I guess. And while we're enjoying this awesome gin and tonic, can you tell us a little bit about Bellarine, how it started, when it started, and what sort of was, I guess, the goal of you guys when you opened up?
Yeah, absolutely. So Russ Watson and Laurel Warren were the founders. They had an idea when they were sitting around a pool once in Vietnam on holiday. They'd seen Bill Lark on documentary talking about the lovely whiskey he was making down in Tassie. And they thought, geez, the Bellarine Peninsula needs a distillery. It's a wonderful spot. So Russ actually hunted Bill down and called him up and said, what do you reckon about setting up a distillery on the Bellarine? And Bill said, well, I go down there for the Celtic Festival every year, and I've always wondered why there isn't one down there. So if you don't do it, I'm going to do it. So Russ, that's all he needed to jump into that, and they set it up. It took a little while to get it happening. It was an old chicken farm down there. The original buildings have been left there, so the cellar door. There's all this nice tin building that's been renovated on the inside. We've got a beautiful fireplace just like this one on the inside. And then on the other side of the paddock, we're on 6 acres. It's on the corner of Scotchman's Hill Road and the Port Arlington Road. On the other side is the distillery shed, which is another chicken shed that we've just cleaned out, put concrete on the floor, clad timber, and then put the stills in there. Then I joined Russ and Laurel pretty early on. I'd been seeing what they were doing and wanting to be a part of that. I wanted to leave my boring career at the time for a more exciting one, and this one certainly is more exciting.
So what were you doing before distilling, or you were distilling or working on a different kind of food production or something?
No, a totally different career. I was in the mining industry. Actually, I'm a geologist by background, so I was doing boring things, hunting for gold and diamonds. Actually, yeah.
Wow. Well, that's boring, not boring. Like what's that's what you picture a geologist searching for gold and diamonds.
Yeah. Whiskey is way better, and gin. They're both.
Certainly, you struck gold with this, pun intended. I'm very good at it. So you started distilling. Basically, this was your first distillation job. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I'd been working on some essential oils in the background and doing home brewing and that sort of thing. But never on a serious scale until I met Russ and saw what he was building there. So I just volunteered my time. Actually, I said to Russ, "Can I just help out? I'll do whatever. I'll dig holes. I'll mow the lawn, whatever, just so I can be next to that still when we install it." And he said, initially, he said, "I can't make use of you like that. I can't afford to pay, and I don't want you to work for free." But I kept pestering him, and eventually I just turned up and wouldn't leave, which worked out really well. Because after about a year, he was like, I don't think I can handle all this work. It got bigger than he imagined. And he said, how about you run the distillery?
Will you send me your CV anytime? Like, maybe I wish we had stuff that keeps pestering. And No, jokes aside. So, one question I ask everyone, what is besides juniper, what is a botanical that you love and you just keep trying stuff and, making it try to work out with different recipes? And is there anything like that that's like your,
botanical? That's like asking who's your favorite child or what's your favorite song?
We all got one, that. We all got one. And it's not right to say it, but yeah.
There's so many. It depends on the style you're going for. I mean, playing around with some of the Aussie botanicals are fantastic. And I mean, the saltbush in one of our other ones, we've got the old Dodger here, the coastal saltbush, which we get just off the dunes down in Port Arlington. If you just get the right intensity, if you have too much of it, it starts smelling a bit like a gym locker room and sweaty saltiness. But if you get the right balance, it's actually got a really nice marine ocean type of flavor that it can give to the gin. In Teddy, it's the lemon myrtle. The lemon myrtle is the star, but it's another one. If you go too far, if you don't get it balanced, it can get a bit soapy and bitter. And they're all very difficult and different to play with. But I couldn't say I have a favorite one. That'd be tricky.
And what about what you've been working that you can tell us? that we might be able to see in the near future coming from you guys? Something exciting, something you can disclose anything, you know, of what you...
We can keep secrets.
We can keep secrets. We're very good at that, you know.
Yeah, I'm
we
sure.
won't tell anyone.
There's only, was it 80 people watching at the moment?
Yeah.
I was going to tell. We've got 5 gins on at the moment, and to be honest, I'm struggling to keep up making those 5 gins. We need to get a bigger still. I want a nice, pretty big one like Holly's got in the background there. We've got these very small 30-litre copper pot stills that we do most of the botanicals through. We've got a 120-litre stainless steel one that we do a lot of the basket infused juniper through. We need to get a serious still for gin. We've got a serious still for the whiskey, but we don't have a serious still for the gin. So we are going to get onto that one soon. Sorry, what was the question again? I lost my train of thought there.
Just basically that, like what's happening in the future and that sort of
the new one. That's right. I was changing the topic. See, I was trying to change the topic on what we're on the new gins that we've got coming.
Keeping the bottle outside, you know.
We're not going to have any new ones in our core range, but we will do some seasonal releases.
Exactly. That's the kind of stuff that you got on your cellar door or your, you know, something that you keep trying on.
Absolutely.
It's like it's been working out, and what can we see soon? Because this is absolutely amazing. This is so elegant and soft, you know.
And if you try our other gins, they're all poles apart. Our aim is to make gins that are extremely different from each other, with no common ingredients other than juniper and maybe one of the fixatives like orris root or angelica. But generally, they're all very different recipes. I have been playing around with one for a while with my Indian heritage. My dad was born in India, and I love Indian food. So I've been playing around with some Indian spices, even distilling things like ghee, the clarified butter, coconut cream, all those type of things. And it's amazing the flavors you can get out of those. And talking to a local Indian restaurant and sourcing some spices and seeing what will work. So I think the next one that we might release will be a spicier Indian style one.
That sounds
want
awesome.
to dip your naan. Dip your naan in your gin.
Exactly.
I love the sound of that.
Make mini naans and you put them as a garnish on the side.
Yeah.
We'll make an Indian gin with an English tonic. How's that?
Or papadums.
Yeah.
You can put a papadum as a garnish.
So just before we jump on to the next one and we start moving through, Craig, the whiskery is probably one of the most amazing little cellar doors that I've seen. You guys are open there like during the week, weekends. How can people visit you there and that sort of thing?
Yeah, the cellar door is open Thursday to Sunday.
Yeah.
And the distilleries go on Monday to Friday, so I don't mind if people pop into the distillery either if they want to say hello. But if you want to actually sit down and enjoy a pizza and a cheese plate and some lovely cocktails, then
we haven't had dinner.
I didn't feed me before.
Yeah,
it's usually my pizza night too tonight. I'm waiting after these gins. I'll get stuck into one.
I reckon that sounds like a plan. Craig, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
The code.
And yes, the code as well. So of course, every time we do one of these tastings, we do a discount code for the night, which can get you 10% off on anything we've got on the website, which includes the next tasting coming up, but also a couple of the gins tonight. We've got a few bottles of, and we'll have those ones that we can post a link to as well.
Yeah, I always make this statement that I'm not allowed by religion to give discounts. It's against my religion. But, you know, just once a month, we do this discount code for 10% just to support all the people that have been supporting us, you know, doing our virtual tasting, which has now become our monthly tastings. And the code is always Juniper. And I'm shortly going to put the link in here. If you guys want to buy some of the gins.
Juniper, 10% off on
anything
website.
Else. You want to buy the next tour, you can also get 10% off. And
so Jose,
we got Beck.
Beck's got it.
Beck's got it. Beck, Beck, please send your CV also.
So Craig, thank you so much. That was an absolute pleasure learning a little bit about you guys and trying that gin. I know you've got a bit going on at home tonight, but I hope you can stay on for as long as you can. That looks like a beautiful little spot there with that wood fire going on. So amazing. And
wood fire, pizza and gin. It's like he's got it all. It's like, you know.
All
Thanks.
right.
Thanks, guys. I'll stay on until my kids come and crash the party.
Give them
Thank
some
you,
gin.
man.
There's all sorted.
They can run around and have
They can
some
run
gins.
around.
I'm all done with this one, Jose.
Me
Cheers,
too.
which means let's jump on to the next one. For the next one, we're going to head over to Brogan's Way Distillery, and we're going to try this Mother's Way gin. So let's grab a glass, pour your 30 mils in. Jose, I'm going to get a little fresh glass here, and we're going to pop in the Mother's Way gin. Now, this is sort of like an Old Tom style gin. Plenty of grapefruit, and a little bit of like herbaceousness, particularly
A bit of a blush.
as the bottle gets a bit of air as well, which is really interesting. Simon, how are you, mate? You good?
Jono size and Jose size. Yeah?
Jose got some good one.
That's, I think double that, and that'll be my size.
That's the spirit.
That is, yeah.
Well, yeah. So
Brogan's Way, you guys have one of those distilleries set up not so long ago, again in urban Melbourne, and been doing great things, engaging really well with the bars, hospitality, the people, you know. Tell who has not heard about the distillery when you guys started.
it's quite interesting just listening to Craig and the story of Bellarine there. The timelines are almost identical. We've only been going 3 years open to the public. So that started September 2018. But like the story Craig just relayed, it was a much longer journey to get through all the permissions with council and EPA and et cetera, et cetera. So our journey probably started 6 years ago. We were also making essential oils and learning our skills behind the scene. We chose an inner city location because we'd seen two fundamental models around the world. The one had been sort of trying to make a tourist destination, which is more rural, normally within wine regions, or there was the inner city location. We just felt more comfortable with an inner city location. It does mean that you run a slightly different style of business. You have to work off a much smaller footprint. You don't have the luxury of space when you create something outside of the city. So our day is playing Tetris, moving stuff around so we can access the distillery, and then moving it all back again so we can set up the bar and run the cellar door. So and then dealing with all the inner city joys of trying to get trucks down narrow streets, etc.
Everything that comes with it.
That's most of our day. For those of you who don't know where we are, we're in Richmond, and we're a couple of streets behind that big blue Swedish store, IKEA. So behind Victoria Gardens, sort of between Victoria Street and Bridge Road. And the distillery door is open basically Thursday evenings all the way through to Sunday. So
you should do, you know what you should do? It's this dinner apart. As IKEA has a child kind of like a minding room, you should do a husband minding room. I'm happy to go there every time I go with my wife to IKEA. She can drop me off at the distillery there, and I just put a little pen, wristband, and you just get gin and tonics, and then she pays, and when she picks up the tab when I come back, when she comes back from shopping,
the antidote for bored husbands, yes.
That would be a great business idea.
You can have that one for free.
We can see that you guys have rebranded.
Yes.
Not rebranded, but it's like the
yeah. So we redid our label. So when we launched, we had a totally different style of label. It was a 2-part label with illustrations on the inside. It was on an angle. It looked amazing, but it was an absolute nightmare to apply, and we could never keep the tension on the labeling machine. And so we worked out that there's a reason why so many labels are square and tall on a bottle. It's because they work better that way. Yeah. So that's one of the learnings you have when you come into an industry from the outside. You think you're going to sort of revolutionize things with new ideas, but you work out why things are done a certain way. So we basically just took the botanical illustrations and moved them onto the front of the label rather than on the inside of the label, and went for a more standard shape. But I'm very happy with the new branding, and we rolled that out from about November last year. So it's across our core range, and the new seasonal releases as well.
So tell us a little about this gin that we got today, Mother's Way.
Yeah, so Mother's Way was inspired basically by when we first turned on our still. It was on Mother's Day 2018. First time we made gin in any significant volume in our still was on that day. And so as we were approaching our third year of operating, we decided to do something around Mother's Way. And the still is actually named after Brogan's mother, Jill, and she loves grapefruit. So we decided to make a gin that's inspired by her best flavors. She also has a little bit of a sweet tooth, so that set the direction for an Old Tom. So basically we make a standard gin, which is very heavy with lime and grapefruit. And then it's a post maceration with a proportion of the gin with pink grapefruit, which extracts a bit of the color. The flesh is also macerated in invert sugar, a small amount of invert sugar, and then we blend the whole up together. So it's a bit of a complex way of making an Old Tom, but it results in a really good product. Very, very textural on the mouth. That's the bit I like most about it. And I like the sort of layers of citrus that come through, and it's quite fragrant as well.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. It's delicious and it's got those different wavelengths. There's a little bit of florality to it, but I think just that sort of like that slight tartness and savoriness is there.
I get a little bit of maybe like cardamom or cocoa.
Yeah.
Or
It's exceptionally well balanced. It's a terrific gin, and I think for the objective, it has absolutely gone above and beyond. It's sensational. I might put a little bit of tonic in this one.
Let's put a bit of ice.
A little bit of tonic going.
Yeah.
Of course, a little bit of ice. The tonic we're going to pop with this one is the Fever Tree Indian. So again, we're recommending the Indian. Have a little play around, see what you like. Try whatever tickles your fancy.
Yeah.
And the garnish we're going to pop with this one is the grapefruit. I can see a little bit of conversation going on in the chat. Which one's my grapefruit? Which one's my orange? Which one's my light? Hopefully you'll be able to differentiate between most of them. If you can't, it's really not the end of the world. It'll be interesting to see how you enjoy it with whatever you find out there. So we're gonna pop our grapefruit in and try this one in the G&T. I guess Simon, you guys have opened back up now, which is great. Probably a little bit of a turbulent time there. You guys are open tonight, and you've got a pretty busy night at the distillery, from what I understand.
Yeah, no, back and operating at full capacity again, which is a great thing to see. Lots of support from our local community, which is very pleasing, and it's good to see all the folk back again. Yeah, and we do the range of gin experiences that most distilleries do. Popular with our cocktail making classes, pretty popular with all the gin tastings and the master classes, and occasionally we run gin making classes as well. We just did one the weekend before, which was fully subscribed. So good to see people back in the distillery and playing around with a little R&D still.
Absolutely. Brogan's Way for all your inner city distillery needs, I reckon. Like, if you go to Hen tonight, if you've got a, you want a little Saturday afternoon drinks with some friends, Brogan's is such an awesome spot. I love the distillery down there. It's great. You sit there and you can see beautiful copper coal still there. It's such a beautiful still.
So people know, do they need to make bookings now? Do you guys got a limited capacity? What's it going?
So that is just increased, but I'd still recommend bookings. You can book online from our website, or just give us a call. Just do click to call from Google, and we'll book you in.
Yeah, beauty.
Take parties, everything. Bucks night, tents.
Not too many bucks nights. It can get a bit hairy, but we actually do quite a few weddings. We get a lot of people booking in for weddings. One poor couple, unfortunately, is deferred theirs 3 times because of lockdown, but we're finally going to be celebrating it for them in August. So Yeah, so weddings, 50th birthdays, 40th, 30th.
Sometimes the universe sends you a message. Well, who knows?
So like old Tom style gins like this, I think are really set off beautifully when a little bit of tonic is added.
Let's see what
old Tom style pairs so well with a sort of like slightly larger tonic, like an Indian or even an aromatic would be delicious with this too, I think. Trish, what do you reckon about this little number and the pairing?
Absolutely sensational. And I was thinking exactly that. I love this sort of punchy tonic with this sort of really flavoursome, fragrant, really textural gin. I think it really does make it pop. I love the idea of aromatic tonic because that was the first thing that came to my mind when I tasted this delicious gin. And, you know, it's really interesting now that you guys have opened the premium Indian tonic and the refreshingly light. Now they have the same botanicals in them, the same ratio. So your Mexican bitter orange oil, premium cinchona bark, marigold flower, coriander, but just the sugar being different, one being fruit sugar and one being white sugar, you have a completely different tonic in my mind. And I definitely think the Indian works perfectly with this beautiful Brogan's Way gin. And also, I think either the Indian or aromatic works seamlessly with most Brogan's Way gin. I love the house style. I'm particularly partial to the Royal Blood gin. It's very, very punchy, the navy strength they do, and that with the aromatic or Indian is just an absolute killer. And I love, Simon, that you guys are based quite locally. It's so good to you know, if you're in a city, to be able to pop into a really amazing distillery without having to, you know, make it a day trip. So thank you for doing that. We really appreciate it.
I really like using the Mediterranean tonic with quite a few of our gins. I just find that it works best for my palate, and just small amount of tonic, 1-to-1 ratio, and it blends very well, particularly with evening light. So it's one of my favorite tonics.
That is a beautiful thing with the Fever-Tree tonics. There's not really a perfect recipe. It's just basically you try what you like, and there's no right or wrong.
Everyone's got different palates. Everyone's going to like things differently, and that's a beautiful thing. Experiment, and I think that's one of the most beautiful things about gin, particularly given its youth in the whole category of spirits. There aren't a lot of rules, and that's a beautiful thing. It's really about experimenting and finding out what you like, and that's one of the great
things. So in the 70s and 80s, people were doing Tupperware parties. Today, you do a gin party. Yeah. And you put 4 packs of different Fever-Trees, and you just try with different ones, and this one with this one, this one, this one. At the end, it's like a
Trish will come around to your house.
Yeah, let's do it. Let me know. We can next taste. I'll come around to everyone's house and
you're gonna book in Trish.
Sensational. Simon, Brogan's Way, you guys are always innovating, releasing some really interesting gins, and they're all, I guess, super unique and sing their own amazing song. For me, the Hearts of Fire one, I love that. Is there anything sort of in the works at the moment that you guys can let us in on?
We are working on another core range gin, which we hope to release sort of end of first quarter next year, if all the moons line up. But our distiller is rather fussy, so she won't release something till she's happy with it. So watch the space on that. We do have another seasonal release coming out in October, in time for Junipalooza, which will be a variation on our passion fruit products that we make. So we do the passion fruit husk gin, and we do the passion fruit gin liqueur. We're going to try and bring both of those ideas together with the next seasonal release.
Yeah, amazing. That's super exciting. And there's just all of the gins that you guys do seem to really hit the nail on the head. I guess pretty young in terms of the distilling scene, but I guess everyone is. We're so excited to see, I guess, how you guys develop over the next couple of years, and we're so thankful that we're able to try these awesome gins, and we can't wait to see some more stuff coming out from you guys. This is terrific. I love it.
Yeah. And you
Oh,
you
thank
guys ever around Richmond? Just, you know,
Pop in, knock on the door. It's a big sliding garage door. Sure, if you knock hard enough, someone's I probably shouldn't say.
We always hear people banging on the door. We'll always open.
Gin.
drop the kids off at
Gin.
IKEA. You get free 2 hours, and then drop into Brogan's
Yeah,
Way.
this IKEA thing, I think it sounds like it's going to kick off.
Shit.
Yeah. So, Simon, thank you so much for joining in tonight. I know that it's a busy night, the distillery, and probably to yourself as well. So thank you so much for joining in and letting us try this awesome Mother's Way gin. It's a limited release, so I know there's probably not that much of it left. I think we've got a couple of bottles. We'll be able to put in the link.
Put the link now.
I don't think they'll last very long though. So head over to Brogan's Way website as well and check out all the things that are going on there. Simon, thanks so much for joining
Thanks, guys. Enjoy the rest of it.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Massive fan of Brogan's Way. It's just such amazing gins that come from these guys. And Jose will pop the link in there.
I was just having a little bit of trouble getting the link, but
That's gonna go in there for the
I
Mother's
just
Way.
got it now.
And as we put that one in there, I'm just loving this gin. I could drink
There we go.
a
That's the link.
dangerous amount of those, I think.
Remember to use Juniper, huh?
Yeah, code Juniper to get your cheeky little 10% off. Let's jump into our third gin for the night, and we're heading to the Victorian Pyrenees, a little distillery in Wimmera Hill Winery, which is an amazing little winery up there. And I guess these guys sort of decided at a particular time that they also wanted to start doing some gin, and thus was born Mrs. Baker's Stillhouse. And we're joined by Jane and George. How are you guys?
Jane and
Well,
Georgie.
thank
Hi, how you going?
Thank you so much for joining in tonight and allowing us to try this Mrs. Baker's Stillhouse Shiraz, the Poetic Chocolate Muse. It's amazing. When I tried this one, I was just blown away. I guess given your sort of location and that sort of thing, people might not have heard about you as much because it's a smaller operation than some of these big city guys, but it is super delicious. So as we pour our Mrs. Baker's Stillhouse sample into our glass, guys, thanks for joining, and tell us a little bit about Mrs. Baker's Stillhouse.
I poured this one for myself.
Oh,
A little bit more or less.
No, more.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was very scarce with me.
so
Amazing
Pyrenees.
bottle. Tell us all about you. Sorry.
we're in the Pyrenees wine region. Fantastic wine. We planted vines a number of years ago and have been producing Shiraz, and so we're very familiar with the wine industry, bottling. Thank you. So cute bottle.
Yeah.
We love the comment before about rectangular labels. Yes, we used to have triangular labels on our wine bottles, and we know the headache that causes. So we grow Shiraz grapes, and when Four Pillars made a bloody Shiraz gin, we were first shocked that why hadn't we thought of that?
Yeah.
Like, just a minute, but we're just absolutely thrilled that they had, because all of a sudden there's a whole lot of people deciding Shiraz gin, that's a thing to do.
Yeah, it was the testing ground for it, and really great for us to sort of see the light in that regard and get a lot more experimental, because previously it was looking to more traditional styles.
Yeah.
Of course, you're experimental with gin. That's the great pleasure of gin, can be experimental. But it was really reinforcing to go, okay, we can take this to the next step now.
Yeah.
And we're playing around a lot more and having a lot more fun with it. And here you are with the Shiraz gin.
Yeah, it's cracking. I guess you're dead right. Four Pillars and with Cam, they really started to put this sort of style on the map, and it's exploded. And there are some sensational Shiraz gins, or just wine grape infused gins right around Australia. What I love about this one though is
it's very different to
it's very
totally
different.
opposite.
And you've put a little bit of a twist on it, I guess, yourselves. So do you mind, I guess, explaining a little bit about what's going into this gin and why it is the Poetic Chocolate Muse?
Well, a muse, muses, as you know, of course you know this, Jono, the 7 daughters of Zeus in your Greek mythology. So Zeus had 7 daughters, and they were the perfect embodiment of science and art, which I think every distiller will say gin making is the perfect embodiment of science and art. And the chocolate, we also, in our distillation, so we do a distillation, we also do a distillation of cocoa nibs from the gorgeous Ratio chocolate in Brunswick, in Melbourne. We get their cocoa nibs, and we do a distillation of those and add it in. Because we've got a wine background, so we're familiar with chocolate and wine pairing. And we thought, okay, so we've got our Shiraz grapes. Let's throw a little bit of the chocolate flavour in with it. So that's what we did.
It's delicious, and it is very different, which I think is beautiful. And you're right, it is such like a no-brainer given the amazing ecology around you guys and the wonderful vines you guys have got. It's really only sort of a matter of time before you did a Shiraz gin like this, and I love the little twist that you've put on it. In terms of tonic for this one, I think this will be really interesting, and I reckon I'd recommend just starting with a little bit of ice in there first. So pop a little bit of ice in there.
Yeah, they just taste it like this. It's quite dry.
And a little bit of ice. Yeah, it's quite dry. And
I love the dryness.
It is gorgeous. The garnish that we've got for this one is a lemon. I think that lemon always pairs really interesting and nicely with Shiraz gins. And Shiraz often has that sort of like more tarty citrus as well as that chocolate undertone. So the lemon's going to be really good. The tonic for this one, we've got the Fever Tree, the lemon tonic. Now, if you're going to start with this one like I am, definitely just try with a little bit of a splash and work your way around it, because it's probably going to change the actual makeup of the gin a fair bit, but it's going to make an absolutely sensational drink. So you can either go with this one, or you can also probably try with the Refreshingly Light as well, which might be interesting. This is definitely a choose your own adventure a little bit as well, but I'm going to start by putting just a splash of the Fever Tree lemon tonic water in, because honestly, some of my favorite gin and tonic combinations are Shiraz gins with Fever Tree lemon.
While you add a tonic, I would like to ask Trish about what does she think about this gin and the pairing, and yes, just a tiny little bit. Trish, what do you reckon about this gin? Have you tasted this before?
This is the first time I am tasting this gin, and I love that this wine background, because it's a Shiraz gin where you get that it's Shiraz. There are quite a few on the market now, and it is becoming a category in its own. And some of them can be more like a liqueur, and this one is more like a wine. It is quite dry and it is quite interesting. So you can definitely see that straight away. And this is what you would think of if you were to think of a Shiraz gin, because it does what it says on the tin, doesn't it? And I think it's delightful. There's such a big place for this style of gin now, something that you can have after dinner, as an aperitif even. I really love this with, like you said, Jono, a little bit of lemon tonic. You don't want to drown it. At Fever Tree, our motto is if 3/4 of your drink is the mix, and mix it the best, but never exceed 3/4 because you will drown the gin. I think just equal parts on this one is great. It makes me think of, my cocktail making background, where anytime you have something with that deep red fruit character, or like a slow gin, you pair that with citrus. So, you know, like your bramble cocktail, your Clover Club cocktail, it's slow gin fizz. It's always the same flavor combinations. And so this is just a no-brainer to make it really nice and refreshing, and turn this into like a really beautiful long drink for a summer's day. It's just divine, I think.
I agree with what you just said. This is with a little bit of the lemon tonic. It's almost like a bramble itself.
Yes, 100%.
It's just and you got pims and lemonade. You could do just this gin and a little bit of lemon tonic, and it's like that kind of statement drink for summer. Like
it's sensational, and I think it's one of those like gins that almost in itself is a little bit of like a pre-batch cocktail, right?
Yeah.
Bear with me, because it's like you've got the amazing gin base you guys are using, plus you're obviously doing the post-distillation maceration with your amazing Shiraz grapes, and the chocolate just comes through beautifully as well.
Yeah.
In terms of the production of this gin with the cocoa, is that like a single distillation, the maceration afterwards? How do you guys make this? Because it's just terrific.
Well, as you know, grape harvest happens once a year. It's our region. It happens in March, is when we harvest our grapes, and that's the opportunity to make our Shiraz gin. We do a single batch for it. So we do a just juniper gin. So it's the only botanical is just juniper. Then we pick bunches straight off the vines. We pick the berries off the bunches and steep them in the gin. They steep for about 3-4 weeks, which is a very technical time. It happens to be the amount of time it takes to make the wine. So the wine is being made in the background. And that once that's got into its maturation vessels, then we can go, right, what are we doing with that gin, and get back onto making that. We do a separate distillation with the cocoa nibs, and we blend the two together. There's also one extra little ingredient that we use. We also go and pick some of yellow box, eucalyptus leaves, Eucalyptus malleodora, and we do a little distillation of that, and we just put you have to be very light-handed with this. We put a little snip of the yellow box in it.
The yellow box.
So, you know, yellow box honey, some people pick up a few of those nuts in it as well.
So do you do grapes, like fresh grapes, or is your pressings or your skins or
semi-dried or something?
Yeah.
Fresh berries. Nothing. Wine, berries, straight off the vine as a bunch, and then we pick each berry off and soak it in the gin.
So think of it as Shiraz fruit rather than Shiraz wine.
Yeah.
But
neither the stems.
Yeah, with the dryness, that was something that we were trying to carry through. In our, that's our own palate, personal palate with drier drinks. So that's what we would head for. And honestly, we were really surprised with this pairing with the lemon, because we'd always gone for the Indian, and so it was a really pleasant surprise to try the lemon. And Trish is absolutely right; it is a very classic and typical cocktail style. So it's fun for us and very new for us, and so we're really excited to have tried that.
And come and learn something.
I reckon it works. It works exactly with the gin is dry. And quite dry, and there's a little bit of tannin in there, probably from the seeds or the cocoa nibs also. And then a little bit of sugar from the tonic with a little bit of acidity of it. It's just the perfect combination of like umami, like it's all together just works.
And then that little bit of yellow box does add like a bit of treacleness to it as well. Yellow box is an awesome botanical to be stirring with. It's really, really fun. I've just got to put my hands up and say that I am in love with this gin and Mrs. Baker's Stillhouse Jose. This is delicious. I think when we get over to the new shop where we're getting over near the South Melbourne market, we've got a bit more room, a bit more space. I reckon you guys have got to come down, and we'll have to do an in-person tasting for everyone and taste through all of your amazing gins. So obviously this is sort of like a a really amazing gin that you guys do, and something quite unique to you guys. Also the bottling and the size and everything, I love. It's quite different, and I think that's special. In terms of your other gins and everything else that's going on in the Mrs. Baker Stillhouse gin range, what are some of the other gins that you've got in the range there?
Well, currently we've got four gins in the range, and at different times of the year we'll go up to 6 gins. We do a very nice Christmas gin, which classically enhances all those Christmas spices, those traditional European Christmas spices of cloves and cinnamon and star anise and ginger.
Mine.
300%.
Doing.
I lost you a little bit there. We're getting
a little bit of something back, and maybe from there we go.
There we go.
Nice. Simon's just popped on some cards.
Simon, yeah. Back on to you.
Sorry, Georgie. Yeah.
We were saying that we do a Christmas gin, which is those classic Christmas flavors, and then which was inspired like primarily by doing our mulled wine, which is, you know, your European warm spiced wine drink for your Christmas festivals and things like that. So
but who wants warm drinks at Christmas time? You know, this is Australia. So we want Christmas gin.
Something you can drink in the heat, that's still fun and festive and Christmassy. Aside from that, we do a classic London dry. We've got a fennel gin, which is quite new. We do
a pepperberry, which are Australian native pepperberries. And at times we were asked to do a boutique, all our gins are boutique, to do one that was all with botanicals from within this region. So we collected citrus, locally grown juniper, some native botanicals, and we made a unique, and some of my homegrown strawberries as well, that was in it. And we made a unique gin for a special event, which we're keen to make that as an ongoing production one as well.
Yeah, it was stunning. It was called 150K because it was 150 kilometers of radius was the event was about. And then we do a bunch of liqueurs, and the little secret that you're asking for is the end question: what are we working on next? I guess no surprise really for any distilling sort of adventure is whiskey is coming next.
I'm not a whiskey person,
but the rest of us are.
No, you should never say that. No, we are doing sales. Come on, no, don't say that. Don't say that. You love whiskey. You love whiskey.
You gotta be careful with the W word around here. You say whiskey, Jose, his ears go poop. We love whiskey at Casa de Vinos as well. It's a big.
We love everything that is well made with passion. That's pretty much the insignia of Casa de Vinos.
This definitely is. It's been so amazing getting to know you guys and this spirit and everything you guys do. You're in such a beautiful location. Would you guys be down maybe in a few months' time to come down to Melbourne, and we'll do like a little Mrs. Baker Stillhouse showcase at the new spot and try through a bit of your range in person with everyone? We'd love that.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. Yeah. And we will be doing a lot more of these events on the new store. So hopefully, like everyone mentioned, this recurrent thing called council, you know, we all get there at one point.
That's all right. Jose's about to drift off into a conversation around about how long the council's taking to get the permits got through for the new shop. Well, that's all right. We'll
make it work.
Yeah. Basically, for those who don't know, we're moving the shop to a location where we've got a massive space where we can do these sorts of tastings in person, which would be super exciting.
And we can close the blinds and continue on until the sun comes up. No, sorry, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. But
that's why the council's taking so long.
Yeah, that's why the council might be infiltrating these our tastings. No, we should get a big tasting room and a state-of-the-art spirits collection close to the South Melbourne market, which is going to be
fun.
all about local produce and yeah. So
and
it's
these
gonna be good
amazing
fun.
gins.
Can I just tell you what's in the still house right now?
Yep.
Right
Yes.
now, at the moment, we're distilling our triple sec. We ran out of triple sec earlier this year, sold out. And because we go and forage oranges from our local valley, our valley up here at Glenpatrick, and we had to wait till the oranges were ripe again before we could harvest some more. So yesterday we went up to the old orange tree in the valley and picked 200 oranges and zested those, and we're making the triple sec at the moment. So there'll be a lot of excited people who will be very pleased to know that our triple sec is available again. So,
I love a good triple sec, and I think you should put a little bit of blue in there, make a curacao, because that's coming into fashion again.
Yeah, I mean, it is. Or you can use native Australian mandarins and get a little bit of blue in there. Maybe the curacao
Can
is
you?
you can, yeah.
Curacao, no cura.
Curacao.
We need
Europe over here. Come on.
curacao. It's like you need to get the Portuguese thing, the curacao.
Column A, column B.
Column.
Thank you so much for joining us, Jane and Georgie. And I know that it's probably a bit of a rainy night up there in the Pyrenees, so I'm glad you've got the gins there and you can taste along. We'll check in with you at the end and see how you guys have found the night.
Yeah, thank you for making this drink absolutely amazing. This is bloody good. Like it's almost like a bottle cocktail that you can mix.
This is finished before the night's out. Don't worry about that. So yes, that's going to be done.
Yeah.
And we do have a couple of those, not many, like only 3 or 4 of those, I think. Available.
I better put the link on before anything. Yeah.
And grab those with the 10% off code Juniper, and also head over to Mrs. Baker Stillhouse website, which is also, I think, part of the Wimmera Hills Winery website, and check out everything those guys are doing.
I got one more request.
Yep.
What is the name of the shop you get the cocoa nibs in Brunswick?
Brunswick. Ratio chocolate.
Yep. Ratio chocolate.
Ratio,
yep.
Like ratio, like
yep.
30, 20, like 50.
And yeah, like ratio chocolate, yeah.
Ratio.
And I'm sure the guys will be able to pop it in the chat there.
I'm the Spanish speaker here. I'm the translator. So okay. Ratio chocolates. Someone messaged me to ask
work well
what
in a
was the
team.
place. Yeah.
You can translate all the European stuff for me, and I've got the all the South
Curacao,
and I've got the Australian stuff over here. Thank you so much, Jay and Georgie. It was so good to meet you guys and to try that one. We can't wait to keep on trying with you for the rest of the night. Over to Bass and Flinders now. My gin glass is empty, and we're so excited to have Holly Clintworth in tonight. The Bass and Flinders Orient Gin. Let's pour our 30 mils in our glass. Holly, how is the rain going over there? Is it starting to thunder down on that tin roof yet?
You can hear some subtle rain. Hopefully you can't hear it through my little head, my mouthpiece here.
No, you are absolutely loud and clear, and what a beautiful location. You guys are in there on the Mornington Peninsula. Started in 2009, which I guess makes you probably by a decent measure one of the oldest, gin distilleries in Australia. But you guys also started with the main sort of focus of wanting to produce some really nice brandies as well.
And liqueurs.
Yeah. I guess as we start trying this one, for those who haven't heard about the wonderful Bass and Flinders before,
Instagram.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about you guys and your ethos?
Absolutely. So been around for a little while now, over 10 years. And we first started out just 10 minutes down the road from where we are now. We're in Dromana now, and we moved from Red Hill over to Dromana end of 2018, I think it was. But we started out in a tiny little tin shed, much tinier than this tin shed. And the goal and the passion project was to was to start out by producing fine brandies, and that's really because we're located on the peninsula, which is a well-known wine growing region, and we saw that lots and lots of wineries, but no one was making use of local wine and turning it into a local spirit. So the foundation was around brandy, and we started out distilling small batches of wine on a copper pot still, making our grape-based eau de vie, and then putting that into barrel and maturing that. And I guess the unique thing about what we do with our gins is that we use that same grape-based eau de vie that ordinarily would be turned into brandy in our gins, as opposed to buying in a more neutral grape-based spirit. And so, yeah, so we're all about grapes, we're all about brandy, all about gin and liqueurs as well.
Yeah, and honestly, everything you guys do is sensational, and it's so great to be able to have you guys in and showcase this gin in this tasting. I guess for me, as I have a little nose of this, unmistakably the mandarins just jump out, and I think that's gorgeous because I think mandarin is, for me anyway, such a nostalgic smell. So smelling this gin really takes me to somewhere beautiful, and it's also inspired by various other spices and flavors from all parts of the world. So
I see this on the spice side, and actually remembers me of like the sea bush, you know, like the literally the smell of acacia and that sort of the marine sea salt mixed through like a little bit of rain, and you know it's not like inland bush, it's like sea bush. It's amazing how more herbal is this gin than the ones that we tasted before. As you can see, the spectrum of within Victoria is so large.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So Holly, I guess the Orient gin, what was the goal with this one, the thought process?
Yeah, so I really wanted to create a gin. Actually, this one's inspired by my family's heritage. So my grandmother's Chinese, and I took inspiration from that side of my family, and so this has actually got Sichuan pepper, Chinese red date, but I've also added in some native Australian botanicals in the mix as well, because you can't not, because they're amazing. But I've got a little. This is what a Chinese red date, or also known as a juju, and we source these. They're grown in Victoria, and they're really quite earthy, but also very, very sweet. It's like a date, but sweeter and more earthy, and I think that comes through nicely in the gin. And then a bunch of other flavors in there as well. So yeah, definitely the mandarin. I wanted to create something quite bright and quite fresh and quite vibrant, but also a little bit left of center with your more classic.
And do you use those jujus dry or half dried? Or,
yeah, they're dry, and we'll steep in a little bit of spirit overnight to rehydrate them, and then we'll distill them with all the other botanicals. So we've also got things in there like kaffir lime to add a bit of freshness, sesame seed, and also wattle seed add quite a rich creaminess and a bit of a texture to the gin as well. And strawberry gum leaf is another Australian botanical, just to add almost like a pink kind of freshness to it as well.
And is that on the pot, on a basket?
Yeah, pot still with a basket, vapor infused. We actually distill the mandarin separately. We've got a few kind of distillates that we produce throughout the year, depending on the seasons, and we just kind of do big batches of mandarins that we've zested. We've had some problems of running out of mandarins in the past, so we've got a bit of a calendar now that we work towards, so that we've got everything lined up.
Got some big batches going. It's a beautiful little still behind you as well. There is that like a Carl still, or whereabouts did you get your still from? It's just so amazing. I love stills.
No, it's not a Carl still. This one's actually from China. Cool. And you can't see the one behind me, but that's our pot still. and that one was designed in France and built in South Africa. So we can get them from all over, but this one behind me is our gin still, and the one behind is the pot still that we use to make all of our base spirit.
Oh, they're beautiful looking things. I guess I might pop a little bit of tonic in here now.
Yeah.
So
I'm almost finished with my sample.
with your sample,
Come on.
All right. Well, hurry up, John, as I say. So what we're going to do for this one, and this is the recommendation from Holly and from Bass and Flinders, is to try this one with a little swirl of a cinnamon stick. So
cinnamon stick, yeah.
We've all got a little bit of cinnamon in there, so we're going to pop that one in there, and the amazing Fever Tree spiced orange ginger ale. So
okay, so now I would like to hear Trish's opinion on this with the ginger ale and the cinnamon stick, and also about the gin.
Yeah.
There we go. Where? There we go. Trish, how are you? Bass and Flinders, you know these guys.
Oh my God, so well. I had Bass and Flinders from the minute that I tasted it. I used to have all of their gins at Gin Palace, and I'm very familiar with the brand. And I am a huge fan of the Orient Gin, actually. And what I really love about this one is that you do have quite a lot of different flavors that are not competing. It's a harmonious amalgam of fierce flavors, and it's really fun to mix with. So today we are pairing it with the spiced orange ginger ale. But what I will say is that this gin goes great with all of our mixes, and I'm not even joking. Whichever mixer you choose will highlight different set of botanicals in the gin. So with the spiced orange ginger ale that you're trying, so we obviously use cinnamon in the ginger ale, 3 different types of gingers and clementines, which is like an orange mandarin hybrid. And that'll highlight those beautiful sort of spice, dry, like wattle seed, a little bit of zestiness from the mandarins as well is highlighted. But if you've got a little bit of tonic, I would definitely try it with the refreshingly light tonic. It really highlights that sort of lime leaf character and like makes it really zingy and zesty and bright and fresh. So for me, this is just a really fun gin to mix with. And yeah, it's like a few gins in one. You can do so much with it. So well done, Holly. This is definitely some of your best work, I would say.
Thanks, Trish. I love hearing you talk about all the gins. You're very poetic.
A hard life. Hard gig I've got.
This is definitely another one for the gin geeks. Yeah. It's amazing how like the cinnamon works with the ginger beer. We give you that sort of Christmas in July spirit. Used to be like very herbal, and now with the ginger, the cinnamon, it's like more spicy and a little bit sweeter and just like change.
Look, in many ways, it's the measure of a really, really sensational gin. In the Jose, you were getting a lot of the herbal stuff straight away, and for me, it was just like mandarins leaping out. I got it as well, but it's exceptionally well balanced, and I think that everything you guys do at Bass and Flinders is just that. It's finessed really well. So well done, Holly.
Also, can we the way we show people that you don't need to use tonic just with the gin. You know, you can use just ginger beer, you can use soda, you can use anything, and it just becomes a totally different drink that you just take it out of the box. You know,
So Holly, I guess this one is an absolute cracker and probably one of my favorites from you guys. You guys got some amazing other gins, obviously some really beautiful brandy as well. What are some of the other sort of gins for people who haven't seen too much of Bass and Flinders before that you guys have?
Yeah, I was just counting in my head before. We've currently got eight gins, so quite a lot. And we also try and make sure that none of those gins are similar in any way. The latest one that we've just released is a Pinot Noir gin. So it's got that beautiful ruby color. It's called Heartbreak Gin, and and we named it Heartbreak Gin after the fact that the Pinot Noir is known to be a bit of a heartbreaker for winemakers, because it's very, very difficult to work with, and you can't hide any mistakes or anything because it's such a delicate grape. So that's that one. And the other one that I made around a similar time to the Orient Gin is one called Maritime. And Maritime was made to kind of reflect my family heritage. Sorry, Orient was made to reflect my family heritage, and Maritime was made to reflect our home here on the Mornington Peninsula. So the Maritime Gin, we locally foraged kelp and samphire and saltbush. I wanted to get a real salty lick in there as well. So it's got some flavors from the ocean, some flavors from the bush. It's got wattle seed and strawberry gum as well, and also some flavors from the vineyards. I've distilled some vine leaves, and also with the grape-based spirit. And that one's a real kind of, salty, refreshing type of gin as well.
So tell us a little bit about what you're working at. What can you tell us of what's coming? Some interesting limited release. Also, if that is a cellar door that us Melbournians can just come around and knock your door and buy something quite a little bit more special or rare that you got on your hand.
Yeah, so we've obviously got the distillery door here in Dramana, which is only about an hour south of Melbourne. Open every weekend, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. And we do our gin masterclasses where you can make your own bottle of gin. We recently started doing spiced brandy masterclasses as well, where you can blend your own spiced brandy. Cocktails and food and gin paddles and that kind of thing. Every now and then we have some distillery door exclusives. We've just run out of the Genevieve gin, which was inspired by French perfumes, very kind of floral and light, and it has botanicals like rose petal and lavender and orris root and that kind of thing. But as far as what's coming, the next tab off the rank, which is probably going to come out in the next few weeks, is actually a brandy. So we've been focusing a bit more on the brandy after we released the Heartbreak Gin. I think that was maybe about 3 or 4 weeks ago now. So there's an exciting new brandy coming out that's going to be much more of a kind of a fun cocktail style brandy.
So just one more question. Now we are in school holidays in Melbourne. A lot of the people down here, it's going down the coast because the only thing we can do is literally stay in our state. Yeah. You guys going to be open this week through until the weekend, or just only the next weekend? In case someone wants to just a day.
Oh, we're always here. We're always here, and the door's always open. So there's always someone here to show you around and do a tasting and that kind of thing.
Yeah, it'd be amazing to drop in and see Evan and all the guys there at Bass and Flinders Distillery.
Get some fish and chips.
Yeah,
go on do a gin tasting and
fish and chips. Have you got fish and chips?
No, in the peninsula, that's what you do. You go get fish and chips, go drop off, buy a bottle of gin.
Pizza, fish and chips. You're making me hungry, Jose.
Man,
yes, no, Bass and Flinders is such an awesome destination. And hopefully for the Casa Vinos Gin Club, we'll have something in the works at Bass and Flinders.
We're working on that.
Yeah, just at the moment, we can't announce it right now, but it is very in the works. And what we will be doing there is traveling in a large sort of vessel, but on the road, and it's got a horn that goes beep. But we'll just leave that up to the imagination. That's in the plan, and also for those who have got a ticket to Patient Wolf and Jaffel event next Friday, that looks like it's probably going ahead, which is really exciting. I spoke to Blake this evening.
They're very positive about it.
The capacity is there. So right now, touch wood, it looks like that'll be going ahead as well, which is going to be sensational.
You just made my week.
Yeah.
I was like, I needed a good news this week, and I was like, that's the one.
Yeah. So we're working on a couple of fun things, and next week looks like it might go ahead as well, which would be a great kickstart to it.
Yeah.
So Holly, thank you so much for joining tonight. It's so amazing to be able to try this awesome gin. We can feel the love and the passion that goes into it. And we hope that as the Casa de Vinos Gin Club, we can have many more beautiful experiences.
Even we got Trish begging for a gin bus. Maybe we should do like the gin.
Well, the gin bus is
holiday stay.
Pretty much happening.
No, we should do maybe like the gin holiday stay, like the weekend. We just go like, we get like an estate in Mornington. We go to Baza Flinders.
Logistically, you're taking it to a whole nother level, Jose. But I like where your head's at. Will you plan it or?
Oh
no, I'll have to.
you do it.
I'm in a state.
I throw it out there. Like
yeah. Good stuff. Thank you so much, Holly.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Cheers. What a sensational gin.
I know.
Honestly, absolutely delectable. And I love so far the array of gins and the different styles. And it wouldn't be a real stop of the gin tour unless we had a Navy strength gin in there, a higher ABV gin in there.
That's like Jono's core thing. He's on there.
I love the Navy strength gin.
Yeah.
Josh there in the chat. He's the reason, little Josh Davies there. He's the reason that I'm such a big fan of
the same way he likes
gins.
Navy strength, he likes blackouts, on the it's come one in one.
It's hand in hand.
Yeah.
So we've got this amazing Anther Distillery Goddess Strength gin, and we've got Derv there in the chat.
Where is he? Let's find him. I lost him just then. He was.
Derv is just here, and I think she might be at the distillery tonight.
How are you? You're muted.
I have to unmute you there.
There, unmute.
There we are. Can you hear me now?
We're on.
Evening, everyone. How are we all?
Terrific. Thank you so much for joining. So for those who have not met Derv before, and we've had Derv in previous tastings, Derv is one of the founders, along with Seb, of the amazing Anther Distillery down there in Geelong. And we're so excited to have the Anther Goddess Strength in tonight. So I'm going to pour my 30ml sample.
You just said Goddess Strength.
That's it. I'm so excited. I'm going to pour my 30ml sample into my glass.
Is it say Goddess Strength?
That is what it is.
Oh my God,
Jose.
this is so awesome. This is like, Goddess Strength. This is,
Derv, how are you? You look like you may be at the distillery tonight.
I am. I'm really excited. I managed to sneak out of the house and avoid childcare, so that's been good. But yeah, I'm really excited to present this gin to you. This is a Navy Strength. So if you haven't drunk a Navy Strength before, which I'm sure no one has not drunk one on this channel, but it's quite a big gin and a lot of flavour in it. But also, if take the first sip, let your palate get used to it, and then take the second. Otherwise, it might overwhelm the old palate. But we're down here at Anther Distillery in Geelong, in North Geelong. So we're on the Melbourne side of Geelong, less than an hour away from Melbourne. And we're in a beautiful red brick 105-year-old building that was the old woolen mills in Geelong. And we can't believe we're sort of in this gorgeous building here. It was built in 1915, and so now has seen 2 pandemics, 2 world wars, and a hell of a lot of history in between. So really excited to be here.
And now a hell of a lot of good gin.
Oh my God, yes. And we keep getting more other people as well. So we've got a few. We can't help ourselves from collecting gin. So we've got a bit of a collection in our own bar here of local Australian gins.
Amazing.
But onto the Goddess Strength gin. So I'm going to show you our label. So the Goddess Strength gin was made to celebrate women in history and science. So if you have a look at our label, it looks a little bit muted, and I'll show you our other Anther label here. So what we've done here is to highlight the fact that although women have done amazing things in history and in science, they're often hidden by history. A couple of amazing women who were the sort of people who ran and funded and focused on the contraceptive pill called Kate McCormack and Margaret Sanger. We don't really hear much about them. We do hear about Richard Pincus, who was the inventor of the pill, but without Margaret Sanger and Kate McCormack's money and brains and lobbying, the pill would never have probably come to fruition so quickly. So that's one sort of element of, we don't hear about these women. There's another woman we have on the back of our bottle. We've got this sort of celebrated here. You probably can't see it, but there's a telescope hidden again in the label. There's a woman called Mariah Mitchell in America who was a phenomenal astronomer. She, at the age of 16, she was able to map out the orbit of a comet. So you can imagine the maths that she was using at that point. There's one of the seas of the moon named after her. There was a warship named after her in the Second World War. And as a scientist, I've got a background in science, I did not know her name. And I sort of wonder why, because she's pretty spectacular. So that's why we really want to sort of have this gin as a celebration of women and those achievements. My hero is Marie Curie, first woman who won a Nobel Prize. So that's sort of the backbone, and that's why we called it the Goddess Strength Gin.
Yeah, and it's amazing, and it's so, I guess, great that you're paying homage to the amazing women in the world, as all women are in this way. And I love the Mariah Mitchell quote that's on the back of this one. We especially need imagination in science. It's not all mathematics nor logic, but it is somewhat beauty and poetry. That's sensational, and this is such a beautiful gin, and it really deserves to be celebrated. The composition of the gin itself, as I might put a little bit of tonic in here now, as we sort of chat about the composition. The tonic pairing we're going to go for this one I'm probably going to start with a little bit of Fever Tree Indian, but we're at the point now where we've got a couple of tonics open, so have an experiment with what you like, and perhaps Deb and Trish will have some suggestions for what they'd like to go with. I think that I'll probably try the Indian myself, and the garnish we're going to pop in this one. Everyone should have a little bit of crystallized ginger in there. Pop in your crystallized ginger as well. Now, the 20 botanicals in this one: finger limes, maple syrup, honey, a really beautiful list of botanicals. Tell us a little bit about the makeup of the gin itself.
So we went with some of the elements to celebrate, again, women. Damiana is an aphrodisiac, apparently, and it makes a beautiful tea. And I actually have it most nights, so it's a very, very nice tea to drink. And we also have sarsaparilla, which have got estrogenoids in them. So it's like a little bit of aphrodisiac, and also the estrogenoids are used in the pill. So, put those two together in the gin, have a nice night.
There is a Mexican liqueur made of Damiana. That's the bottle is very peculiar about it. They are quite open. Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah.
I imagine it would be beautiful. Is it sweet Damiana would be phenomenal. It's such an amazing, herb, really complex smell. It's beautiful. And we've also put in maple syrup and honey in there, and that sort of softens that. So it's a 15% gin. It's quite a high ABV, but the palate belies the strength of the gin because it's very smooth for such a big gin, such a big ABV. And we've also got quite a lot of juniper in there. A lot of our gins have a lot of juniper in them, and that helps those oils help to soften the palate a little bit. And we've also got some classic things in there like our eucalyptus and Australian natives and finger limes, which are amazing. And we've also got Artemisia in there, which is wormwood, and that's after Artemis, the goddess named for her, who was the huntress in the Greek mythology. So she was another amazing woman in mix. So it is a real celebration of women in history and just women in general. And it's a nice, good kicking gin as well.
Yeah. So getting on topic, let's talk to our gin and tonic goddess, because she knows quite well the distillery, because that's it's one of those people that is working in hospitality more than can I even remember. Trish, Anta, probably one of your favorites, I'm sure.
Yes, I am very familiar with the wonderful Derv and Anther and love these guys and everything they do. I was actually lucky enough to spend Gin Day down at Anther Distillery with the crew then, which is just amazing. It's always a treat to get down there. And if you guys haven't been, go. Go to all of these distilleries. But, you know, I really love Anther. We go way back. And yeah, all their gins are very powerful and a very strong female team, which I think is very empowering. Dev's just sensational. And I love this gin. I love powerful gins. I always say that gin should start about 46, 47% and go up from there. And I love that every time Derv releases a new gin, it's higher in alcohol. So what's next? You can't go much higher, but I love how fierce this is. And I love that story. And I think this is great with the Indian tonic because it's a powerful tonic, you know, that doesn't really fight the flavors at all. They still come through beautifully. So huge fan of this one. And yeah, it's one of those ones that's very delicious, but you must try to moderate with this one, definitely. Yeah, I've had a few martinis with this one in my time, and didn't end so well.
I reckon it would have ended beautifully, Trish. You can't go wrong with a Navy Strength Gin Martini.
No, you can't.
Well, you can, but
that's after a few. I love the blush.
The louche effect.
Blush.
So
the louche effect on these, there's so much flavor. And when you get louche, it's like just immense oils.
Louche is like the botanicals and the more oily botanicals coming out, and that's a beautiful thing. Some people might not quite know what's going on when that happens, but it is just like the more oily compounds extracting from the post-distillation spirit, which is I think a beautiful thing. I don't mind cheeky little bit of louche effect. Love this gin.
It looks really good in the clubs when it just like turn really bright.
Yeah, and you put a few drops of like green food dye in there, and then
I had not been there in a long time.
Okay, right.
I remember.
Absolutely sensational. Derv, thank you for joining in tonight. A couple more things for you. We love Anther and your new little spot down there in Geelong. You guys have only been there for like a few months or maybe a little bit longer now, but for everyone who wants to head down to the beautiful new spot you've got, where are you and when you open, I guess?
We're down in North Geelong at the Federal Woolen Mills. If you put the Federal Woolen Mills Geelong into Google, you'll find us. And we're at the back end of the boiler house. So the building we're in used to have the boiler, and it used to fuel the whole site for electricity and other kinetic energy, and but because of that, at our front door, we have a 40-metre chimney. So, and that has Federal Mills written down inside of it. So if you do come down to see us, just look for the chimney and then you'll find us. And we're open for Friday night drinks from 3 o'clock and from midday on Saturday and Sunday for tastings, and just come in and have a drink at the bar. We've just released our new winter menu, and our bartender is absolutely phenomenal. She just makes the most magnificent drinks. So come down and hit her up for a cocktail.
Yeah, it sounds like an absolute plan. And for those who haven't visited Anther, obviously we had them in previous tastings with the cherry gin, which we love, with the Goddess Strength that we're having now, with the Christmas character, the other gins that you've got in your catalogue there. We love every one of them, and it's such a beautiful distillery. So
if you see us or me doing movements and stuff, and it's like I got this little stuff today.
Little whiskey.
Little whiskey.
He's had a few.
His name is Whiskey. Yeah, he's keep on chewing on stuff he founds around the shop, and I gotta keep on taking it from his mouth. So it's all good. That's why
Thank you so much for joining tonight. I know you guys have a busy night at the distillery, so I hope the vibe down there is awesome and the rain isn't too wild for you guys down there. So thank you so much for joining. We can't wait to stay in touch with everything you guys are doing.
And send our regards to a beautiful Joy Tai. She's a very good friend from a long time, you know.
Yeah.
She's
we're so lucky to have her. We know how lucky we are to have her.
She's one of those, another great woman in hospitality. Yeah. Another one that those ones that are like, respect so much, you know.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
And all women are.
Guns now. She's like really strong, right? It's from all the distilling and movement that she does in the distillery. So she's running all of our distilling at the moment. So she's just gone from not having any experience to basically running the distillery in 4 months. So she's a phenomenal woman. We're very lucky.
Thank you so much, Deb, and thank you, Antha. We can't wait to keep following on the journey as everything goes on. Let's crack on to the next gin, where we're running a little bit over, I guess, time than maybe we sort of scheduled, but I think that's an okay thing.
It's okay. I'm not getting picked up until like half an hour.
We want to spend enough time on all these amazing gins, so we'll just keep going through it at this pace, because all of these gins deserve such an amazing time in the spotlight, because they all are wonderful gins. And for the next one, we're moving to the Great Ocean Road Grapefruit Cello gin.
Hang on, Rachel is saying she's in lockdown in Brisbane. Like, we got some people that will be in lockdown in New South Wales. Rachel, we started these and we continue doing these tastings on a way to give entertainment, not just only the gin tasting. There's a very big entertainment component on these tastings, which was bring happiness to the people that couldn't see anyone who was just locked in for a long time last year. And thank you for joining. I hope we brightened your evening, you know, we look forward to see you again. Thanks for joining it, Rach, and to everyone. And we'll talk a little bit more about, I guess, some stuff that's coming up more towards the end. But now we've poured out this beautiful Great Ocean Road Grapefruit Cello, which is just gorgeous and great for this sort of like this part of the tasting. It's gorgeous. It's a cello. I'm trying to find Anne. Anne is Anne. She is. Yes. Anne, how are you? You're muted, Anne. We'll get there. She's too rusty, Anne. No, you need to unmute yourself. Or do we need to press a button, maybe? No, I already asked her. There we are.
Sorry. I really am rusty. I've not been Zooming, so bad. But anyway, I'm now here. Hello. Thank you for having me, and thank you for showcasing our Grapefruit Cello gin tonight. Absolutely. We love everything you do at Great Ocean Road. I guess initially we fell in love with you because of your split point we had in our first stop of the Victorian gin tour last year. And we've, of course, tasted the Gavos. You've got the raspberry cello and some amazing gins. Before, I guess, we jump a little bit more into Great Ocean Road and everything you're doing, let's focus a little bit on this beautiful grapefruit cello we've got in front of us. What was sort of your thought process with this one? What did you want to achieve? Yeah, so I'm using our base gin. We had to play around with, obviously, I love gin liqueurs. Should probably start there. And the raspberry gin liqueur was the first in our range, using some beautiful heritage breed raspberries. Berries are a feature of this part of the world. And I've also, like Simon's wife, have a love of yellow grapefruit. So, and yellow grapefruit's in the base gin. So it seemed a natural fit for us to use that as part of a grapefruit liqueur, and wanting to do it in that limoncello style, but not wanting to have it as sweet as a traditional limoncello. Yeah. There's also this gnarly old grapefruit tree down on the river in Aries and Learn, and my family history is of a farming family in the late 1800s, growing, having a dairy farm and an orchard down in that area. And so this gnarly tree made me want to actually grab the grapefruit and and start this liqueur.
Working with them, yeah, and it's delicious. I think that this one as well is just gorgeous with a little bit of ice. So if you haven't already, I'd really encourage, get a little bit of ice in there, move it around a little bit, get a little bit of dilution in there, and it's gorgeous.
It has the real tartness and bitterness of the grapefruit at the end.
Yeah,
because a grapefruit is not sweet; it's tart and a little bit bitter at the end, and it carries all that, which is amazing.
Could this sort of be like the Australian take on limoncello? Could this be what sort of like puts us in the?
I would say,
yeah. I think it really could be. So let's have a little bit of a play around of this with the ice and just the spirit. And I think last time we were chatting to you, you guys are obviously always working on a lot of interesting stuff. You've got the amazing sort of like tasting room space there in Aries Inlet. And of course, you work with Brogan's Way with a bit of your distilling and that sort of thing as well. What's happening at Great Ocean Road at the moment?
There's too much happening, Jono. Too much. We still have our tasting room at Aries, which is really, I mean, COVID. Our bar is tiny, so we've essentially been allowed to have 3 people in the bar. So it's essentially the garden, the gin garden, and so we've just taken a lease on the venue next door to extend that space, and so that's going to be called the Gin Kitchen. So we're looking at having a more solid food offering there and having an Asian-inspired influence menu and cocktails that play to that strength as well. And then we have a production space in Torquay, which is where we macerate, we cut our gin, we bottle from that space. We've got a still on coming within probably about the next 10 to 15 weeks from Tassie. So it's a 300 litre still from Nap Lewis. So the next stage is to really get that production space up. But in terms of the base gin, we are still making that at Brogan's Way. So we love working with Simon and Brogan. And today, the gorgeous Derv, looking a bit as tired as I am actually. It's been a long day. So we also have something in the pipeline that we're down making in Antwerp at the moment. So really excited to be working with these guys on a new gin that they're creating.
Doing amazing stuff. You always are. And I must say that I am loving this with a little bit of ice. It's a gorgeous little sort of style. It's gold. It's sensational. I'm going to make this into a little bit of a longer drink myself. And I think for me, I'm going to go with the Fever Tree Refreshingly Light. That's going to be my pick, but play around at home with what you've got and see what you like.
I'm one of those that will keep this bottle in my freezer.
Yes, it's an excellent call.
I'll put this bottle in the freezer and just take it out. Might not even add ice if it comes from the freezer. And just little, I would say maybe a splash of tonic in there.
Yeah. And the garnish for this one, if you've got a little bit of your grapefruit left over from the Brogan's Way drink, that'd be great. You can pop that straight back in. You know, you can double use your garnish. We're all friends here. Grapefruit will be really good in there. Or also, we've got the lime too, which we're going to use for the next gin we're going to do. But a little bit of lime in there, break that in half, could be sensational as well. I'm really liking this one. Trish, what are your thoughts on this awesome little cello? And what would you sort of gravitate towards in terms of your mixer of choice?
Oh, this is super tasty. I am so pleasantly surprised. I really love that it is like, you know, limoncello with a twist, bringing it into a bright, fresh style of drinking citrus. I think it's delightful. Huge fan. I love that it's not too sweet. I can definitely see that neat. I automatically want to use it in a martini with maybe one of Anne's other delicious gins. Super cold with a twist of grapefruit would be lovely. So definitely that neat play is great. Definitely agree. A little bit of tonic does change the dynamic of flavors. The refreshingly light, again, because, you know, gin's already got, you know, this lusciousness, it's already like quite viscous. So that with the light tonic is fine. You don't have to have too much sugar in there. I really enjoyed that with the light tonic. I actually then, when, you know, Anne was talking about, you know, that limoncello. So our lemon tonic, we get these beautiful Sicilian lemons, you know, and that region make quite a lot of limoncello. So I tried that together too, just a smidge to make it into more of like this bright cocktail, and it is delicious. Oh my goodness, like that as a palate cleanser, like after a meal on a hot summer's day, it's just like sorbet, like that is just delish. So, and I'm a huge fan of this one, so I can't wait to pick myself up a bottle.
I reckon this is another one for the super duper award. Like this is a lemon super duper with a little bit of tonic, just cut through straight away with a sweetness and gives a little bit of bitterness and turns it into over 18 super duper.
Yeah, and like this one's some crushed ice, and the lemon tonic and the and this beautiful gin would be so refreshing. Big fan.
It's delicious. I did a little mix of that myself before Trish actually during their session. I thought I'll just have a little look at that. I haven't tried it yet with the lemon, and I agree. I thought it worked really well with the lemon. We do a cocktail in the tasting room, which is this 20 ml of the 30 ml of the grapefruit, 30 ml of the raspberry, and then topped up also with the ginger beer. So your ginger beer,
yeah,
and just with some lovely cucumber and some lemon twists and some berries when they're in season, or at the moment we're using grapes. So again, it works really well with those flavors too.
Oh my God, I'm in love with this, and so yeah, really great job.
Yeah. I'll have to try the martini idea.
Make me one.
It's sensational. It's so lovely, and it's a beautiful little, I guess, addition to the amazing lineup of gins that you already have. I'm such a massive fan of the Split Point and the Gavos as well, two of my absolute favorites. And at Aries Inlet, you've got a beautiful little tasting room there.
Again, the same question during the holidays, which is still one more week. And is it open if the Victorians want to go and knock the door? You still tell us about it.
Definitely. So we're open Friday through to Sunday. So basically 12:30 start to 7 Friday and Saturdays.
Yeah.
And we close a bit earlier on a Sunday. Close at 5 o'clock on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah. During peak season, we open 7 days a week, but for winter months, we close just to weekends.
Oh, nice. Well, it's
the dog was eating something else. Sorry.
Jose's dog's gone ate some sort of letter over here, but he needs more gin, Jose. Put a little bit more in the doggy bowl. And
that would be so much trouble.
We're such big fans of everything you do, and we can't wait to keep following on the journey. The Casa de Vinos Gin Club, love the Great Ocean Road stuff, and it's going to be a fun little, I guess, year or so. It seems like you've got a lot going on in the next year, and it's going to be great to see how everything develops. Yeah. So we can't wait to go on the journey with you. And thanks for coming in tonight again.
Beautiful. Thanks for having us part of the tour.
Oh, he likes it.
Yeah, what do you reckon? Yeah.
No?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there we go. Hey.
All right.
Hey, my boy.
Even dogs like it.
Hey, I know. I need another glass now.
So thank you so much. And that was sensational. We're moving on to the next distillery, the last one for the night, but definitely not least. And
I've been trying to work out what's going on that camera for a while.
And we'll hang around, and we've got a few things to chat about. But I tell you what, there's a lot of amazing stuff happening in this camera. Down in Mildura, at Mildura, at Fossey's Distillery, Mildura, home of the Mildura apple and guava juice, the best juice in the world, but also home of the most amazing guy going around.
This is amazing.
Steve, how are you, mate? Thank you for hanging on with us. How are you, brother?
Welcome to Fossey's, right? Who the fuck would employ me to do this job at this time of night? 8:30.
Oh, mate.
Are you kidding me?
And we're last, so we've had to drink someone else.
Anyway.
We just regret we just met you now.
All right.
You're a party animal. You're a spirit animal.
This is just a normal. This is just a normal night on a Friday night in Fossies. Let me take you for a little tour in a minute, right? So tonight, look, I've been drinking all the gins. Obviously, we've been having a little bit of fun along the way, and and it's all great.
A lot of
We believe that totally. We love it. Yeah, we can't wait to come around and you come around and
get in on the fun. I guess what I'm going to get everyone to do, Steve, is we've got this awesome Fossies barrel-aged Shiraz gin. Everyone pour your 30 mils out. Get that in your glass. And I don't know if I'm going to have to do too much talking here, Steve, because I reckon you've got a lot of this covered. Tell us everything about Fossies, this gin, the distillery. You take it away, mate. You've got this.
Look at that.
Okay. So don't get it in your glass, get it in your mouth, right? As much as I love Fever Tree, and they are our go-to.
My ex-girlfriend used to say that, yeah.
with all things here, we love and embrace our main go-to is our Mediterranean, right? So let's just park it up for a moment with the ginger ale, with the spiced ginger ale. We'll come back to that in a minute, right? I don't normally recommend that you ever try a gin straight. It's not something that amateurs should do, but us professionals, was that a laugh at us? Us professionals, we like to, I like to say that this is one of the gins that you can drink straight, right? So first off, don't put anything with it. As much as I love Fever Tree, don't put anything with it, right? Just pour it into a glass, maybe with a bit of ice, and just have a go at it straight. I'll tell you about it as you're exploring that. I'll talk about it, right? So our Shiraz gin, we've been competing with.
I'm getting a little bit of ice in here just to
is that the
follow you.
Is that the right thing to do? Yes.
Yeah, just a bit of ice. I'm getting a little bit aromatic in starting. Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. So, Steve, continue, please. Oh, well, he has the top up there one.
No, so we're all just getting a Shiraz gin here. So
this is like 7 hands and 3 people. Oh my God.
There's actually 5 of us here.
Yeah.
So what we did during COVID was we got our Shiraz gin, which our gin is a little different because we make it all here locally, right? We make the spirit from a grape spirit. So the grapes are grown within sort of 30 or 40 k's from here. They go to a winery. We make the spirit from the waste from the winery, and we get to select the best of that. We bring that in, run that through our little school.
Continuando então, eu acabei consolidando e ganhando ali a partida, né? Acabei.
There we go. That's fine.
Classic Andre. Classic Andre.
Classic Andre. Andre, you can always rely on Andre to interrupt things, right? So what we do is we get this grape spirit, right? Which we make so the difference between grape spirit, grain spirit, and cane spirit is the grape spirit is a lot softer in the mouth, right? It's got a lot more mouth feel, easier to drink. It's not a harsh spirit. So we make our Shiraz gin out of that using the Shiraz grape.
Yeah.
What we did with this during COVID last year was we decided to go through a bit of a barrel aged session. So we laid down 3, 4, 6 barrel aged gins.
Steve, let me just get you one geek question. So you're using wine and you're not using lees or mark, right?
So we take the lees, the mark, and the filter from the diatomaceous earth.
Yeah.
We put that, we distill that through a coffee still or a continuous still.
Yeah.
Which is a big still.
Yeah.
We get the spirit from that.
Yeah.
But we only use the heart of hearts out of that spirit.
Okay.
We run that back through our small still in-house here at Fossies.
That's that's a pot one, yeah? Or pot
he's a little bit
hybrid.
He's a little bit of a hybrid. Yeah, he's a little bit bisexual, trisexual. Have a go at anything. He's a cross between
goes anyway. All good. We know that.
It's all good.
We don't know.
Yep.
Everyone's happy.
But But what it does do is we have a lot of copper on our little still in-house. So after we've made the spirit, we run the pure spirit back through our still and polish it off with a lot of copper. Copper's important when we're making good gin, right? Copper gets rid of basically sulfides, hydrogen sulfides. Chemical reaction happens between alcohol vapor and copper. And the best way I can explain it is that it polishes it off.
Yeah,
right?
it
makes a good spirit fucking great.
It takes it to the next level. Now,
yes, exactly right.
For those who don't, he's allowed to say fuck. We're all friends here. For those who don't have a tonic or an ale in there yet, pop in your preferred tonic. I've got a little bit of the Fig Tree spiced orange ginger beer. That's what I'm going to go with. I'm loving this pairing, and it is as amazing as this is, and how much of a debaucherous time is going on at the distillery tonight. This is actually a sensationally crafted gin.
Just hold up. That KC saying the right thing, right? Just fucking hold up on the mix for a minute, right?
Don't mix it. Don't mix it. No.
No mix it.
You're getting in trouble here.
This is one gin that you should try straight.
Yeah,
first.
Particularly after.
Like I have. Yeah, I got it straight with ice.
All right.
Yeah. So we've tried it. We've tried it straight. And on the palate, you're getting obviously those beautiful idiosyncrasies from the Shiraz grapes, but also the barrel influence there. Is the barrels, they're fresh barrels that you pop in?
So the base Shiraz gin is Shiraz grape with our gin, right?
Yeah.
What we've done is we've got a very, very high-end barrel out of Seppelt Fields in the Barossa.
Yep.
And we laid our gin down in that for I think it was 5.5 months. So you've got to be very careful. We make whiskey and rum as well, right? And that's all about the barrel age stuff, right?
Yep.
But with a
with gin, it's about fresh aromatics.
Exactly right. You don't want to overdo the barrel aged influence, right? It's a new science. Nobody really does it, right? Except us, perhaps.
No, but it's just about not getting all the primary smells, you know.
Yep. So what you're doing is you're getting this extremely high. When you make a whiskey or a rum, right? 80% of the flavour and 100% of the colour come from the barrel and what was in the barrel beforehand. So we take that, we put our gin in that, which is a white spirit. In this case, it wasn't; it was a brown spirit. But the what we're looking for is some oak influence and some Shiraz wine influence on our Shiraz grape gin. Nobody's ever done that before, and probably will never do it again. But it's to me, I think we out of the six ones we did, we put one down on rum. We did one on Alianco Rosé. We did one on Shardy. We did a navel strength on Shardy. We did one on port, and we did this one. And I must say, within our little bar here, it's probably the most popular standalone gin that comes out.
It's your favourite.
Yeah,
it's not surprising why it's absolutely gorgeous.
I would say the nose is pure cinnamon.
Yeah,
you know, a little bit of star anise in there. It smells a little bit like Peking duck or.
It's got that Southeast Asian
Southeast,
spice on there.
Yeah, amazing.
Oyster sauce. It's delicious, Steve. You've done a terrific job with this one. You promised us a little tour.
Oh yes, of course. So is everybody happy with the gin, right?
Happy as Larry. We've got smiles.
Happy as Larry in the gin. So right now.
So you got the distiller, and we got like 3 assistant distillers. It's like we got like the distilling manager on your right, and you got like the production manager on the left, and behind maybe it's, I don't know, human resources.
Steve's all of these things. He just walked into the distillery.
No, there's something.
So we're leaving their little boardroom here. I have no idea what we're going to walk out to here, but fucking here we go. Righto. So this is Nathan. Nathan's our bar manager. Hi, Nathan.
Nathan, I can see you in good hands, mate.
So in this corner, we're making a little bit of mulled wine here. We make that with gin. It's really good. We serve it up. Just over here is our distillery. This is Stanley Still, and this is a table of drunks.
Oh, great.
Been here since 4 o'clock this afternoon.
Hello.
I don't know why we let these type of people in this space.
I don't know. They just keep hanging out there, right?
Got to make the money here somehow.
Yeah.
It's our bar. Some lovely people. This is Shelby.
Hello, people. They keep on following you, right?
Blood couches here.
They look like regulars.
I know that was a bit fast and I'll turn around. Oh, Jesus Christ. Here's, I don't know. What's your name again?
What's your name again? That seems very natural
media.
for a Friday night.
Yeah. What else have you got for us, Steve? Can we
So
have
now audio here is probably going to get a little bit scratchy, but
that's
we'll go outside. Out here, fucking everybody out here's got no idea what's going on, right? Everyone just shut up. Everyone say good day.
Hey!
Right, yeah.
Hello, everybody. It is here.
I know.